Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about our Project 5, which is immunologic tolerance, autoimmunity, and hypersensitivity. So, how does this immune system maintain unresponsiveness to self-antigens? So, the immune system prevents autoimmunity through a process called self-tolerance, which happens through two main mechanisms, which is the central tolerance here and then the peripheral tolerance. So, central tolerance occurs during immune cell development in the thymus and bone marrow. As shown in the picture, immature T cells and B cells are tested to see if they're strongly self-recognized antigens, and cells that react too strongly are removed through apoptosis, or they can be modified through a process like receptor editing. So apoptosis or modified. And then peripheral tolerance occurs after immune cells leave these organs and enter circulation. The diagram shows that mature immune cells that recognize self-antigens can become inactive through energy, be eliminated, or be controlled through regulatory T cells. So, right here. And then, so what are the factors that may contribute to the loss of self-tolerance and the development of autoimmunity? So these are a few, which are genetic susceptibility, environmental triggers, epigenetic alterations, immune system, and cellular dysregulation. Autoimmunity occurs when the immune system loses its ability to distinguish between the body's own cells and foreign substances, causing it to attack self-antigens. Several factors can contribute to this loss of self-tolerance. So, um, genetic susceptibility, meaning certain genes can make an individual more likely to develop autoimmune diseases. There's also environmental triggers such as infection, smoking, diet pollution, and UV exposure, which is all here the pollution, chemicals, smoking, diet, alcohol, microbiome, hormones. We have got epigenetic alterations, changes that affect how genes are turned on or off without changing the DNA itself. And immune system cellular dysregulation, which occurs when immune cells do not function properly, allowing self-reactive immune cells to survive and attack the body's own tissues. So,
How the immune system maintains unresponsiveness to commensal microbes and the fetus. The immune system maintains unresponsiveness to commensal microbes in the gut through its abundance of IL-10, which is an anti-inflammatory cytokine produced by regulatory T cells, signaling from TLRs leading to inhibition of immune cells and the physical separation of bacteria by the epithelium. For the fetal antigens, this tolerance can be through the generation of peripheral FOXP3 regulatory T cells, which are specific for the paternal antigens. Another way can be by exclusion of inflammatory cells for the pregnant uterus, or the inability to generate harmful Th1 responses. The mechanisms of different types of hypersensitivity reactions. There are four different types of hypersensitivity reactions: type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. Type 1 hypersensitivity is an immediate form of hypersensitivity mediated by IgE antibody reactions causing the activation of mast cells. This type of hypersensitivity begins with the binding of IgE to specific Fc receptors on mast cells, leading to the release of mediators such as histamines. A late phase reaction develops 2 to 24 hours later. Type 2 and type 3 hypersensitivity are similar in the sense that they are caused by IgG and IgM, but differentiate in the fact that type 2 happens when antibodies bind directly to a target antigen on the surface cells, leading to the cell becoming a target to other immune cells or the complement system. Meanwhile, type 3 forms immune complexes that are deposited mainly in blood vessels, causing inflammation. The mechanism to this is antibodies binding to an antigen and creating an antibody-antigen complex deposited in the blood vessels, activating the complement system, which leads to the recruitment of neutrophils and causes inflammation. Type 4 hypersensitivity is a delayed hypersensitivity mediated by T lymphocytes that occurs when a CD4 lymphocyte gets presented with a tissue antigen via MHC2 by an APC, leading to the release of cytokines causing inflammation and tissue injury. Or the direct form of CD8 T lymphocytes recognizing tissue antigens via MHC1, leading to direct cell death and tissue injury.
Now I will explain the effects of hypersensitivity reactions. Hypersensitivity happens when the immune system reacts too strongly to an antigen, and instead of protecting the body, it ends up damaging normal tissues. In type 1 hypersensitivity, the reaction is very fast. Mast cells release histamine, which causes symptoms like itching, swelling, difficulty breathing, and in severe cases, anaphylaxis. In type 2 hypersensitivity, antibodies directly target the body's own cells. This can lead to cell damage and diseases like Graves' diseases. In type 3 hypersensitivity, immune complexes form and get deposited in tissues like blood vessels, kidneys, or joints. This causes inflammation and tissue damage, and a common example is lupus. In type 4 hypersensitivity, T cells are responsible instead of antibodies. This reaction is delayed, usually 24 to 72 hours, and includes things like contact dermatitis. Overall, even though the mechanisms are different, they all result in inflammation, tissue injury, and sometimes organ dysfunction. Now I will talk about how hypersensitivity reactions are treated. The main goal is to reduce the immune response, control inflammation, and prevent damage to tissues. The first step is usually avoiding the trigger, such as certain foods, medications, or allergens. To reduce inflammation, corticosteroids are commonly used because they calm down the immune system. For mild symptoms, NSAIDs can also help with pain and swelling. For allergies, antihistamines are used to block histamine, and leukotriene inhibitors are helpful in asthma. Some treatments are more specific, like monoclonal antibodies, which target certain parts of the immune system. Other drugs can also reduce B cells or T cell activity. In more severe cases, immunosuppressive drugs are used to lower the immune response overall. And in emergencies like anaphylaxis, epinephrine is given right away because it works very fast. Overall, treatment focuses on controlling the immune system and protecting the body from further damage. The references that we used was the Immunology textbook and BioRender for images. And the roles were that Eliza worked on chapter 9, Daniel worked on slides from chapter 8 and 9 and uploaded the video, and I work on slides from chapter 8. Thank you.